Welcome to Section 31, episode number 367. I'm Dan Hammond.
And I am Rogue Schindler.
This week, one of us went to a tournament. Surprise.
More or less.
It was part of one.
It was.
Yeah. So we'll chat about that. Some bookkeeping, I think. Looking forward to the raffle this weekend.
That's right.
And man, I'm looking forward to it for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a bunch of stuff that there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of packs and sealed product that we've never had to give away before. So that's going to be fun. I think I've got for the walk-ups in the chat room. I've got a few of the world's promos that I just mailed off this weekend to our transport to the Van Bremens who are going to take it send it to the wrong address. It's okay. They recovered it. They've got it. It's going to Australia. So that'll be fun. And then after this raffle, if you liked what this was, the next one's going to be more of the same. Plus, we're going to blow out a lot of the 2E cards that we've been holding on to for a while. It's gonna be fun. So I think if I look at my calendar and I do that while I'm talking,
then you'll find out that
it's what did I do that? I've got it at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning. So we'll see how that goes. Hope you can join us. I don't think the automatic article thing went up, so I'll post something probably later today as a reminder. Things are closing. So good times. Ooh, that's going to be early. All right. How was the tournament? What did you see?
My part of the tournament, well, we showed up about halfway through round 3, so we could actually see everybody. That was my main motivation for wanting to go. It ended up being a really tough weekend. It was Caitlin's birthday, and we had some visitors, and a lot of things were happening. So I couldn't get away for the actual the 1E event, but they played, sounds like, new TNG draft, the 2.0 TNG starters, and had some fun. Looked like JD won.
Nice.
Took JD the day, and they did what we've done a couple of times, the last few times that Johnny has run his TNG draft, which is it's not just, the winner. Of course, the winner wins, but there are 3 affiliations, and there were 6 players without you and without me, which was great. So it's actually good I didn't make it because they had an even number. Charlie was visiting and was in town, so we had him and Thomas and Johnny, of course, and then JD was in town, or not in town, but not out of town, I guess, because he's frequently deployed. But then we also had Justin, who has been recently reassigned, quote unquote recently, several months ago, reassigned back to San Diego as he finishes up his tour with the Coast Guard, and so he was there. And then Joel came down of former Santa Barbara play group, and now I think he's in LA somewhere. But he was like, "Yeah, if you have something, let me know." And so he came down. So it was a whole bunch of surprise guests.
That's awesome.
And a lot of people showing up, and it sounds like everybody had a great time. I know JD won with Klingons, and somebody yelled cheese, which I think was a bitter chairman. But after Johnny mentioned his deck, I can't really argue with that. I think he said something like 2 or 3 loss of orbital stabilities, which even after the errata is pretty powerful in that sort of format. But the Federation took the affiliated aspect of it. Charlie and Thomas both finished. Looks like they went 2-1 each. They had 17 combined victory points, while the Klingons finished first and last with 14 victory points. So Federation took the affiliated championship, but JD got the tournament win. So everybody sounded like they had a great time, a lot of fun going on, and most of the folks stuck around for tribbles.
Cool.
Which is what I did. And by most, I mean about half. Actually, it was good that I showed up. Johnny had to run, of course, and I think Justin had to run, but it was me and Joel and Thomas and Charlie and JD and JD's daughter, who had come for the whole tournament and enjoyed watching, playing, and doing her own thing. I had Laura and Caitlin had come with me for the first part, and so she entertained Laura for a little bit, but she stuck around for triples and made quite a contention. So Amelia was playing with us as well, and there was a little bit of slowness. I think we only got through 3 rounds, just because we were kind of explaining powers now and then, but it wasn't really a big deal. She picked it right up. She's familiar with Uno. She got the basics down. The only question she had was, what does each power do, that as people were playing them. And I gave her my clone deck because it has the least number of powers and the most frequent number of opportunities to play cards.
Sure.
And she did a really good job. She had a lot of fun skipping people and reversing it, again, much like Uno, and recycling her dad, who was playing my rescue deck. So that was entertaining for her as well. And we had a good time. I don't even remember who won, but we all had fun. I know I didn't. I know we got to when we got towards the end, it was really tight. It was a pretty even run. Everybody was within about 100,000 in the 300,000 or 400,000 range. So yeah, lots of fun. Good to see everybody again. That was what it's really about. And I hopefully we'll have the opportunity to do it again sometime. I know JD was really excited about trying to get things rolling again now that he is not on deployment, all the time. So I think they were planning on having a 2E tournament. They were trying to go to every 3 weeks instead of every 2 weeks, if that was going to be better for people's schedules. So that would be math next weekend, I think, for 2E and triples here at Arby's.
Okay.
So not quite in alignment. I'm not sure. That article just posted that might qualify for the Chairman's Challenge. Does that have to be right on the same weekend? I think it does.
I don't know how flexible it is, but yeah.
Yeah, so maybe they'll kick that out a week so that'll line up. But the Chairman's Challenge just got announced, and those look not really, a 2E player, but that 2E foil is pretty, or that 2E promo is pretty cool.
Having
mission.
Put together those promos last week or so, over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
These are the nicest looking promos I think we've done in a long time. The missions look spectacular on that rainbow foil paper. They are.
Oh, they're on the rainbow foil. I can imagine that would be amazing.
They are. How do you say? Difficult to put together.
Oh, sure.
What?
Challenging.
Yeah. What am I looking at?
What are you looking at?
All right. Well,
what are frogs?
There are some images there, and that's not what I was expecting to see. But anyway. No. Well, maybe they haven't actually announced what the promos are yet. Right. Maybe those are just placeholders there.
Yeah?
I think so. Well, guess what?
Yes,
I put that there. All right. Well, they're beautiful. Let me tell you.
So it's not this Q flash and this Deneb approach?
I don't think so. That's not what I put together.
Okay.
Anyway, I've said too much.
Yeah. Well, we are here to dole out intelligence, whether it's intentional or not.
Unintentional intelligence, I think.
Or just the name of this podcast.
Yeah, right. I put them together. They're spectacular. They look beautiful. I was happy to send them out. I've got a page of each in reserve for the Chairman's Challenge. Like I said, I've got one or two to give out on Saturday at the raffle, and so look forward to seeing those soon. Awesome.
Excellent. And that's we kind of glossed over that in conjunction with that comment, but that's coming up. Worlds is weekend after next, 10 short days away. The preliminary events begin on Thursday down under. Sorry, guys, had to. but that's I'm sure going to be an interesting encounter. A lot of draw for some of the big players. So we look forward to hearing about how that goes, and how the events around the world for the Chairman's Challenge go. That's always an entertaining and way to kind of focus players on the weekend to help celebrate Worlds, even though if you're not going to be there. So,
and it'll be interesting to see what the meta brings out. That's always something I'm disappointed that I'm not involved in playing the game in tournaments as much as I used to be, just to see what people bring out. So that's going to be fun.
Speaking of what the meta brings out, did you follow at all? And I'm like, we're way past. We've both been so overwhelmed with assorted personal scheduling issues that we completely missed an entire Will of the Collective. Like, since our last episode, it was conceived, it was put up, nominated, voted on. Like, it sped through. Now, not to take away from the fact that we haven't been on for a while, but it was really fast.
Well, that's been one of the problems with the Will of the Collectors in the past. Well, one of the problems anyway, is that they would just drag on for so long, and so many decisions to be made. The fact that it was, as you said, put together, voted on, run, and completed in a relatively short amount of time, fantastic.
Yeah, really impressive. Now, you can't ignore the fact that at least part of the speed of that is the fact that there was no significant power text to really haggle over. Because that's always the really, how are you going to pull as a collective out of the blue some kind of ability, game power, and make sure it's not overpowered, or have it play tested or whatever, and then have it Harry Mudd was voted on and then had to be kind of basically drastically nerfed before it finally hit the table.
Completely consuming evil.
All can say that, yeah. There's plenty of examples. That said, I gotta say, again, not a 2E player, don't really care very much, but a little disappointed at that idea that of just being like, all right, we're gonna make a Shelby. Let's put some skills and stats on a card and pick a person. Go. Now, the end result was pretty cool. That was a cool option, and I liked the way people were nominating. Certainly myself, looking through the nominations, I was pulling for Jellicoe. I don't know about you. I'm sure Borg Hawk was pretty cool for yourself as a Borg player. But I thought that was a good way of having something interesting, keyword-wise, without having to have play text, game text, where Jellicoe would have been a commander of the Enterprise D, and fit in with that burgeoning deck that almost but not quite has enough captains to really pull off something.
It's getting close.
But that would have been a great addition. So that, I'm sure design teams are pocketing all of these suggestions and be able to look back at them later. But that was a cool idea. Borg Hawk, a cool idea.
Oh no, Rogue has disappeared. Oh, there you are.
My
technical difficulties. I need a splash screen here for.
Sorry, my I unplugged my computer and it's telling me it's about to die, so I want to make sure I plug it in before I disappear for actual real. And we're back. Welcome to Section 31.
Last time on Section 31.
Fire.
And now the conclusion.
Well, that's all the intelligence we have for this week.
Clearly.
Which is our conclusion. I don't know if you had seen it and been able to participate. Do you think you would have done anything differently? That you're kind of a I don't know. I know you didn't always like the Borg as much in 2E as in 1E, but
I had a good time occasionally playing Borg, but I started out playing it one way, and someone suggested an interesting way to play it. I played that a few times, and it made people annoyed, so I stopped playing it that way. And then everyone else played it better than me, so I stopped playing it for a long time because I didn't want to play it the same way everyone else did. And then I don't know. I haven't. I've seen 2E cards recently, but I haven't thought about a deck in ages, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. Similarly, I played it a handful of times. I know it was a strong part of the meta for a long time in various forms. Looking at it, I mean, that's kind of the problem with this format of Will of the Collective is, does the game really need this? And that that was not really the problem with approaching it from the direction you did. They did, which is, let's pick a person and I'll pick an affiliation and we'll pick some skills and okay, we're done, or some lore, and that's it. And that is like, is this going to see play? Does it bother? Is it helpful? I didn't read through every post of every forum as far as what the skill selection went like, but picking the only reason a card like this would be useful in a meta like this would be if it fills a bunch of skill holes for a reasonably decent price, and that's why Shelby was so popular ages ago. When she ever saw play, which was, she was a 2 cost, she had decent stats for her TNG crew, and she had geology because everybody wanted geology for that extra 5-point mission, and so I don't know. It was probably more interesting to pick a character first and then build it from there. But to make a character like that might have been better to be like, okay, here, less interesting but more statistically viable to go. Here are the affiliations. Here are their available skill sets, and here are where we noticed some significant holes, and who can we find somebody who would fill one of these. That's always been what I think is a kind of a more interesting aspect of design, not to me to perform, but to see how they do it, which is mechanically we need this, find a story around it, as opposed to we want to build something that DS9 does. Okay, this is kind of DS9 like, let's do that. So that's obviously, again, more difficult from a Will of Collective standpoint, but
yeah, I mean, and you get into the area of, well, let's see, this affiliation doesn't have a lot of honor, so let's make up somebody with honor for that affiliation. Well, now you're taking away something that one of the flavors of that affiliation is they don't have a lot of honor. If you just start filling in gaps like that, I mean, maybe you maybe you got to give them something that only has honor under certain circumstances, or has honor in that affiliation in a special way. Yeah.
Which then bleeds over into, oh, this character needs game text.
Yeah.
Which basically eliminated any TOS personnel at all.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, good idea. All right. What else has been filling up all of our time?
Aside from family and work obligations?
Yes.
I would say play by post Pathfinder ACG.
We've been doing a lot of that. That's been fun. I have also been playing the Magic Arena. It's free to play Magic cards. You can pay to play if you wish, or you can play for free. I like it because I get to play every once in a while, and it matches you up with people at your level, so I don't have to play anybody really good.
Nice.
It's pretty much, it reminds me of back in the day, the old, playing online, except that you don't have to really spend anything. You can just play with the free scraps that they give you.
That's nice.
It takes care of all the, it enforces the rules, so you don't have to worry about, playing things wrong. And like I said, it does auto matching. It reminds me of, I mean, they're hitting all the notes that free to play games do, like Hearthstone and things like that, or the timelines. Here, daily quests. If you play through them all, you get all this free stuff, and it's probably about as much as you wanted to play anyway. So when you're done, go do something else.
Sure.
The incentives to keep playing deteriorate as time goes on. On the other hand, I've also had Star Trek Adversaries open every once in a while, and it's funny that both of these games, both online card games, have followed the same path. They were in a closed beta for a while. They're both in kind of an open-y kind of beta right now. They're not 100%. There's a new expansion coming out very soon for the Magic game. They have a promised Romulan expansion coming out within the month. They said before October, but they had to push it back a little bit. So we should get a bunch of Romulan cards in flux there. I find myself spending a lot less time in the Timelines one because they haven't changed the reward system in ages. You play a couple of games in Quark's Bar, which are free, and if you win a couple of games, then you got enough, and then you're done for the day. Whereas the Magic ones are play this many of this color card and this many of this type of land, or do this much damage to your opponent. Much more varied. I like that. How do you have daily things like that in Timeline still? I seem to remember a bit of it, but it's been so long.
They do. They have a number of things, and they're all pretty rote. Actually, they're the same things every time. They're not any different. Do 20 space missions, 20 away team missions. That they're stacked, so it's 5, 10, 20. Do 3 faction missions, shuttle missions, then do 7 shuttle missions. Buy something from the store or redeem something for free, because usually you have free things from events and such. Yeah, those are pretty rote, but on the whole, they're things that I would do in the course of playing anyway during the day. The only things I think that I would have to force myself to do, I don't really have to force myself to do, because they have their own benefits anyway, like doing the cadet missions. Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you do cadet missions, you get 6 tickets and you get 25 chronotons each. So I'm never not doing those. So it's not like I need incentive. And they actually, in general, I kind of hate ads, but I really like the way Timelines, and I've seen a couple other games have started doing it this way too. Caitlin said her Disney emoji game does it this way too, which is instead of just having ads splashed everywhere and annoying the crap out of you, you can click on them to choose to watch a video, and then you get some kind of benefit. And that's been in Timelines for quite some time. Periodically, you can hit it and you can do a free mission, or you can get 10 free chronotons, but they added like 4 more buttons, so you can get an extra free spin on the Dabo wheel, or you can free reset the Dabo wheel if you don't like what's there, and it does whatever spin level you're at. So if you have spent dilithium on the Dabo wheel, you spent it's 55,000 credits, and then you pay 10, you pay 30, you pay 50, and then you use your free, you get the 100 level. So
Yes.
you can use it anywhere in there. And then they had another one that is double the results of your whatever mission you just completed. So if I just did a chronoton mission for my cadets and got 25 chronotons, I can watch the video and get 50.
Nice.
So not only does it do that, those only come up like every hour or two. So now instead of the clock just hit 10, I'm going to go and burn down my cadet missions for the day, so I don't have to worry about it later. Now I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to do one, and then I'll come back, and I'll do another. And if I can spread it out over 6 hours, over the next 24 hours, then I've doubled all of that. And they've quite intelligently, means that we're coming back to the game more frequently throughout the day, instead of, okay, I'm going to play Timelines right now. Okay, I'll be back in 24 hours.
Yeah, and I bet that the ad buys that they get are much better, since you're choosing to watch it, and they know that you're sitting all the way through it. Even if you just hit go and then walk away and come back, if you exit out early, if it's anything like the games I played, you don't get the benefit of whatever it was for watching the whole thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, good for them. I mean, that's That's the way to do it. There's no ads in the Magic game that I'm playing. It's all spend money to buy cards. But the daily tasks are varied enough. There's 5 different colors in Magic, so they're always something different. Play this color
Sure.
that I don't usually play, or play that color. So I feel like, and at the beginning, the more you do, you get like decks and newbie decks and newbie cards and things like that. So I feel like I'm doing things that I wouldn't normally do, but it's keeping me interested because I'm doing things I wouldn't normally do. So I'm not just playing the same thing over and over again.
That's cool. That sounds like fun. That's a little bit more like what I think Hearthstone does. And I believe, didn't they do that in the Pathfinder online? They had little quests for a little while, and they were always different. Kill 5 goblins or something like that.
Man, I haven't opened up that app in ages. I remember the last thing I saw was they introduced a bunch of things that you could buy, and I was like, yeah. and then we started, we played enough offline that I didn't feel like I needed the online thing. But
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
I will say, since you've been asking the question with relative frequency, I was stopped on a drive back from Modesto yesterday for about an hour to let the girl run around and burn off some energy instead of being in a car seat for a while. And I noticed that Star Trek Adversaries was available in the Google Play Store on mobile. And I was like, sure, why not? I'm just sitting here.
Yeah.
But it was so big that my phone was like, are you sure you don't want to do this on Wi-Fi? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I should do that on Wi-Fi. So I never quite got there. But it's there now. And I did say, as soon as it hit mobile, that I would hit it. So it's on my list. In fact, I could do that now that I'm sitting here at home on Wi-Fi.
I found that the rate of accrual of cards is so dramatically less than it was during the play test that I don't feel like I'm making any real progress when I play. Quarks, yeah, Quarks used to give you like a pack if you won like 5 times or something like that, and now it's like it's a lot harder to get to. It used to be that you had to spend Latinum to get into Quarks, and now it's free, so you can play as much as you want, but the rewards are so much less. Yeah, it's painful, and I haven't. I tell you, something is up with a random number generator because I have never opened up anything rare or any of the legendary cards. You can craft them if you save up your coin, which is probably the way to go. But I feel like I've not gotten much of anything, and I had some pretty good decks before everything got reset, and I'm just not playing enough. I'll tell you, I'm not putting any money into it, and so I'm just not getting the cards I need. So I can't play competitively. Right. I'm sticking to Quarks right now.
That's disappointing that there is not, because that's one of the things that I like about some of the analogs of that type of game is that you can have fun competitive decks with just the free to play packs and decks, and you may have to put some time into earning those cards, but they're available. And if they're not going to make that available, that's certainly, even some of the games that I have previously eventually put some money into, I didn't do that until after I had enough fun playing freely to want to do that. Exactly. So if they're going to make it like that, they're cutting themselves off from revenue and potential players.
I feel like I'm on the brink of spending, I mean, not serious money, but, $10, $15, maybe $20 to buy a package, when the Romulan stuff comes out. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, if that improves, we'll see. I'm downloading now, so I'm going to give it a shot, and we'll see if the free to play is entertaining enough to keep my interest.
I would play a lot of Quarks because you know what your opponents are going to be, and it's draft, and you get to play with a lot of different cards, so you don't have to. It's the same as Hearthstone, right? Here's your 3 choices, choose one. Keep doing that until you have a full deck.
Sure.
And you get to see a lot of the cards. You get to see you get to play a lot of the bases that you wouldn't normally play.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I would definitely play some of that, and make sure you join the continuing committee fleet if you haven't already.
Sounds good. I will do that.
I don't know if that does anything yet. It's one of the other promised things that we're going to get: fleet actions and fleet quests. But I haven't seen anything yet. I should open it up and take a look. It's been a couple of days. All right, very good.
All right.
We've got a scrapbooking party coming up in a couple of weeks, right?
Is that World's Weekend?
4 weeks from now. I think it's a little
4 weeks.
after
No,
that.
that's after that.
Yeah.
I
We've got
remember it being sometime in the coming October.
we've got plenty of things to put together. I've got a box here. I'm expecting a few more things. I don't know if it'll come in time, but these are the promos for the second half of the year, which we are most of the way through already. So this is probably going to be late 2018, early 2019 promos. I've got a stack
Nice.
of other promos that I don't know what to do with, but we're going to put them together because they're for something that either hasn't been announced or something. And then we've got the rest of the world's promos, a couple of masters promos to put together. I own a kit for the online masters, and I think I've got to send something out towards Texas because they're having their chainsaw masters again. So we'll have plenty to do. Should be fun.
All right, sounds good. And October is going to be busy here, not just for that, but 3 weeks, isn't it? Is the San Diego Rocket Race?
Yep. The rocket race is coming up. My deadline's coming up pretty soon on that, so
Yeah.
You know what to do.
Well, if you need any help, do let me know. I would be happy to proofread anything you like, or I can scout some locations if that's helpful.
Yeah, one of our testers sent me a note, said don't know if they're going to be able to help us test because they may be being recruited. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, we have people traveling because they didn't know the dates sufficiently in advance, so we have to fill out with available bodies.
Yeah. All right, very good. We'll chat again soon.
All right. Well, in the meantime, that is all the intelligence we have for this week. We thank you for your patience as we've kind of let life take over our schedule a little bit, but we do hope to be back with you more often moving forward. I am Sir Rogue.
And I'm Sir Dan.
And I will still remind you all to expand your power in the universe.
And I will still draw to end.